evening, pawn in our chess game. Tonight we're going to take a break from conveniently not knowing what a woman is to now very conveniently knowing exactly what a woman is to bring you tonight's top story. The Supreme Court has overturned Roe versus Wade. This takes away a woman's right to an abortion at a federal level and puts it in the hands of individual states to decide. What does this mean? How are people reacting? Why is this terrible? And how will this hurt future generations who will now unfortunately be alive to experience the future? Stay tuned for all those answers in tonight's special report, along with some other bullshit. Let's start off by seeing what the Babylon Bee had to say about the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Dems paused January 6 hearings to call for an insurrection. Sounds like some accurate reporting to me.
That's true. It seems like only one side of the political aisle are not allowed to tell people to take the streets, cause violence, start fires, and go to your the politicians' homes to intimidate them. Seems like only one side of the political aisle is not allowed to do that. Funny. Anyway, let's continue.
Less than pleased with the Supreme Court's decision to overturn abortion in Portland, rioters took to the streets to peacefully smash windows and write graffiti on walls. And also in other places too. As they were rioting because their right to abortion was taken away, no one told these Portland rioters that abortion is still legal in their state, that they could go get one now instead of rioting if they want to. And on this issue, it's been reported that 100% of all rioters are alive and able to riot because their mothers didn't abort them.
Stopping it there, the excuse that they will use is, but because I'm privileged, and mostly because I have white privilege, it is my job to smash windows and cause riots for the black and brown women who are all poor and all live in poverty. So they will have their rights taken away because they're all poor because they're black. But again, a lot of this outrage is due to the fact that people lie, people fear-mongered, because that's what propaganda is, and narrated a narrative that abortion was completely banned right out, which is not. Abortions are still here, and probably here to stay. But in some states, the people will eventually vote to kind of what limitations they want in their states, or if they want abortion to continue. So places that are in middle of America may have no abortions or restrictions, and places like LA and New York will have abortions 2 weeks after birth. All right, let's continue.
But if these people really stood for abortion, they would have been aborted, so they could have first-hand experience going through what they're crusading for. Now, legally speaking, many people are outraged over the overturning of Roe versus Wade because it takes away a constitutional right. But our legal research team shows that the other constitution that these people must be referring to is probably more important than the US Constitution. And we look forward to eventually finding it one day so we can take a look. We have reports that when those who are outraged about the Supreme Court's ruling were asked, what is the actual legal basis that gives a birthing person the guaranteed right to abortion at a federal level? They expertly broke down the legal definitions to explain, I'm angry. Powerful legal precedent. Now,
because abortion was never in the Constitution, so it should never been in a federal law, and the Supreme Court overturned it because the Supreme Court and federal law is supposed to be based on protecting laws that's in the Constitution. It's really 101. Okay, let's continue.
With abortion, should it be a federal law or a state law? Let's break it down so you can be the judge. The legalization of abortion via Roe versus Wade, or something like that, came from the Supreme Court in 1973. Now, the Supreme Court is not intended to make any laws, as they did in the 1973 case for some reason, nor are any of the Supreme Court justices elected representatives, as Tucker Carlson points out.
The Supreme Court is simple. It's to determine whether the laws that politicians pass are consistent with the United States Constitution. That's it. That's all the Supreme Court does. What the Supreme Court does not do, what it cannot do and should never do, is make laws. And it should never do that because a court making laws would be, by definition, anti-democratic.
Now, getting to the heart of the matter, For communism to work, laws need to come from the federal level by unelected officials. In a filthy democracy, laws are passed by elected legislatures, who are elected by citizens. So when laws come from the state level, where people's elected representatives can actually represent them, that unfortunately strengthens democracy and interferes with the implementation of communism. So we'd like—
Stopping it there. He's absolutely right. Giving the choice back to the state so the people in those states can have a choice what kind of abortion rights they want in those states that they live in. That's literally the most democratic thing you can do. They're trying to make a thing that was never in the Constitution a law straight out without considering each state, each individual, each group, each religious right, and all those things. That's the thing that's totalitarian. The thing giving back to the states is the most democratic thing you can do. But leave it up to pro-choicers to think they should force everybody to believe in their same ideology. If you don't believe in the ideology of someone who's pro-life, you are free to move out of that state, or you're free to rally people together to vote in and out politicians who will push forth policies that's more aligned with your ideology. Again, giving people the choice. Anyway, let's continue.
I'd like to thank all the writers out there for being tricked into fighting democracy by protesting the democratic tradition of them having the right to vote for their state elected representatives, who will then either legalize abortion or not. Them allowing themselves to be used, whether they know it or not, to help usher in communism is inspiring and something their children and grandchildren could thank them for, but probably won't for some reason. Now, on this issue, we need you to know that abortion is good because it's not killing a baby, because life doesn't begin until the moment of birth. And in other news, as DC Drano points out, if you kill a pregnant woman, you're charged with a double homicide because you've killed 2 lives.
Another reason, literally reason number 5 million. The reason why I am not pro-choice is because it's just hypocritical. It doesn't make any sense. 98 or overwhelming amount of, or the majority of biologists, scientists, people in the medical field agree that life starts at conception. That is a fact. That is a scientific fact. For the side that keeps screaming the science, they really aren't very scientifical. And the fact that it's not in life, but you can be arrested if you kill someone, if you kill a pregnant woman, which would be a terrible thing to do, but you will get charged with double murder, even if that baby was below, like if it was 6 weeks, 9 weeks, 12 weeks, it doesn't really matter, you would get charged with double murder. So how can that person be charged with double murder if it's not a fucking life? Oh, but because the mother wanted it, now it's alive? Only if the mother wants the baby, then it has value. When you go tell that to all the kids in foster care. Anyway, let's continue.
The Canadian Communist Party, Justin Trudeau, is reaching out his demonic hands in a humanitarian effort. Ezra Levant, on the platform that Elon Musk kind of bought, but maybe isn't, but now kind of is again, points out, Justin Trudeau has invited American women who want an abortion to come to Canada. Bodily autonomy, he says, but they're not allowed to come unless they're vaccinated first. Many leftists planned on protesting outside the home of Black Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. Definitely not because he's black. Protesting this black man is important because it's not okay to take away a constitutional right under any circumstance. Just ask our president.
Okay, so I don't know if they're only protesting in front of Justice Thomas or the Black Supreme Court Justice, because if they are, if they're he's the only one, that does seem a little bit racist. But I have seen all the racist tweets calling him the N-word by white progressives. Like I said, they're all low-key racist. And yes, it's really, really ironic saying that you can come to Canada because we believe in body autonomy, but first you have to get poked in the arm by something that you're not really educated and cannot get informed consent. And that's the other hypocritical thing. A lot of people who are pro-choice tends to also be pro-mandate, but you believe in body autonomy. But the baby inside you is not your body. Anyway, let's continue.
Recently, the now elected Congresswoman from South Texas, Mayra Flores, flipped a historically blue district red for the first time in 150 years. While she was being sworn into Congress, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi took a break from insider trading to elbow and push the Congresswoman's young daughter. Take a look. Now, did white Nancy Pelosi do this because the Congresswoman and her daughter are Hispanic? Well, that's a question we would only declare the answer to if it was against our political opposition. Instead, we'd like to point out that as Pelosi was inflicting mild violence onto a Hispanic child, she never once broke her smile that her surgeon implanted onto her face.
Because you know, if that was Trump, that would literally be on every headline. Every new major news organization would have been blasting the fact that Trump pushed this Hispanic girl because he's a raging racist. But Nancy Pelosi do it? No, that was just an accident. The hypocrisy of it all. Anyway, let's continue.
In other news that'll make you feel like you're in good hands, as President Biden was speaking with reporters, he revealed a cheat sheet that instructs him on how to act. The cheat sheet had instructions on it like, you enter the Roosevelt room. You take your seat. You ask Liz Schuler a question. You thank participants. You depart. Wait, who departs? Oh, I do. Glad we could clarify this for my clearly working brain.
It really amplifies the political theater of it all, that really none of us fucking real, none of them really care. It's all theater, it's all acting. I wonder if this is not like new. I wonder if all presidents actually get this, because it's theater, they're all acting. So it's like, okay, like they don't actually debrief or talk about these issues. It's just, here's your script, go in room, say and do what we tell you to do, because there's all puppeteering, it's all theater. Or if it really is just Joe Biden because he's losing his mind, he's suffering through dementia or something like that. I wonder, you know what I mean? I can see both being true, but it definitely doesn't make America look great. We are the laughingstock of the world. Anyway, let's continue.
And it was written repeatedly in all caps. Otherwise, I probably would have missed it. We expect the president's next cheat sheet to have the additional instructions on it for an even better public interfacing. You do not talk about your mandates when lecturing people about women's bodily autonomy. Only for today, you do know what a woman is. And you do not talk about showering with your daughter like she wrote about in her diary. Also, in another impressive public showing, the abortion-centric leftist president addressed the nation that definitely elected him about the Supreme Court's decision. Here's what he had to say.
I do not view abortion as a choice and a right. I think it's always a tragedy.
No, not that clip. Try another one.
Today, the Supreme Court of the United States expressly took away the constitutional right from the American people.
Yeah, that's the one. In a strategic move of national leadership, he decided not to say anything with any substance. But we'd like to point out, with his eyes almost all the way closed, he was still very impressively able to read off the teleprompter, the reflection of which you can see on the doors behind him.
Teleprompters are nothing new. I'm not gonna hold that against Biden. I will say the big difference between how he spoke before and how he speaks now really does show like the decline. Like he's not even articulating his words. It's almost like he has a mouthful of saliva. I don't know if he needs better dentures or something, but it doesn't look good. And I like what he said before, that it is a tragedy. I wish that would stay consistently on the side of the pro-abortionists. That is always a tragedy, not really a right or a choice, but it's something that if you have to do it, it's a fucking heartbreaking tragedy, not to be celebrated in the streets or have cakes baked for. And showering with your daughter, I mean, different families have different boundaries. You know, like the parents who like wet kiss their kids in the lips. I don't know, not my thing, but whatever. Let's continue.
Another cheat sheet of sorts. This enabled the president to precisely convey the message that he was instructed to give. In other news, a constitutional right that is super okay to take away is the right to bear arms. Because as President Biden has taught us, It is not okay to take away any constitutional right under any circumstance when it comes to abortion. But before he said that, he said the Second Amendment and the Constitution are not absolute. Congressman Chip Roy points out that tyrants disarm the people they intend to oppress. Take a look.
Tyrants disarm the people they intend to oppress.
Yeah, but that's not what we're doing here. Don't be silly. Let's move on. Ahead of her sentencing, Ghislaine Maxwell has been put on suicide watch. This is in spite of the fact that her attorneys insist she is not suicidal. Now don't worry, the security cameras monitoring her cell are still working, but won't be for long. And the leader in Arizona's gubernatorial race, Carrie Lake, had a beautiful and some would even say powerful interaction with a CNN reporter. Here it is.
Hi. Carrie. Hi.
Nice to see you. Count off and CNN.
You don't have a mask on anymore. What's going
we're
on?
outside. Do you have a minute to
well,
chat?
we're 6 feet apart.
Do you have a minute to chat?
I'll do an interview.
Okay.
As long as it airs on CNN Plus. Does that still exist? I didn't think so, because the people don't like what you guys are peddling, which is propaganda. Thank you.
She was definitely not prepared for that. I do feel a little bit sorry for her. Yeah, that's true. Weird how a lot of leftist media is completely crashing and burning. No one's watching it except, you know, when it plays in the airport's lobby and no one has a choice but to watch CNN. People are fucking over it. And the whole like Maxwell sentence, I'm so fucking upset about that. 20 years for dozens and dozens of girls being sex trafficked. Like, that's fucking, like, R. Kelly got 30 years, which he deserves, but, like, that's, like, what he did was wrong, and it was years of abuse, but, like, he only got 10 years more than Maxwell. Like, what? Like, she should have got 20 years for each victim, or life for each victim. And we are never going to find out who was in those little black books. We are never going to find out who was on that flight list. So all of those elitist politicians and celebrities and rich ass folks who are standing on their gilded cages telling us how to live can go around continuing to perverse around the world. Like, it's just so sick. Some stuff like that really makes me like black pill, because you're just like, really? No, so really nothing happens, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure Maxwell probably has the most plushest fucking jail cell there is, instead of being thrown in fucking solitary confinement like she deserves. But anyway, let's continue.
If this is any indication of how she'll stand up against tyrants and propaganda once elected governor, then all we can say is, we gotta stop her. She'll ruin our whole plan. That's it for tonight's news. In the coming months, please look for us on the left to use the Supreme Court's ruling to attract new voters to vote blue in the midterms. We think it's a foolproof plan because it'll attract people based on the virtues of killing babies and giving the federal government more power, which are both necessary for the greatest reset in history. Good night.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna peddle this for sure to try to get new voters. I don't really think it's gonna work. I think once most people, when the dust settles and most people realize, oh, it's not actually being banned and I can just sort of use my voice and my vote to say what kind of abortion laws I want in my state, I still think the economy is going to still be at the top of everybody's list, and the economy sucks at the moment. But anyway, guys, tell me what you think and everything he said in the comment section below. Were you aware of all of these updates? Let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the button to notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, guys. And if you'd like to support the channel even further, you can donate. My PayPal and Cash App link is in the description box below, and also in the comment section. Of course, it helps, but you don't have to. You just like, comment, and subscribe. Another great way to support the channel is either join my brand new membership program, different levels, different tiers, different perks, or you can visit my brand new merch shop. Links down below, and links to all of the alternate platforms I'm on, my socials, including my Twitter, all the ways to support me and all the ways to contact me for business is always in the links down below. I also have a second travel vlog channel. I travel as a lifestyle. I live abroad. If you'd like to know where I am in the world, you can go to the description box below, and also in the comment section, hit the link, go subscribe to my travel vlog channel, and or follow me on my travel Instagram. My stories is usually what's most up to date, and I also have my other channel, Speak Freely, links down below, and you guys have an amazing day. Bye.